How's it going, everyone? Evan and the entire Battlehawk gang pretty much out here at the range today, and we are out here with a ton of lever guns. So we are in central Iowa, and Iowa is, first of all, a pretty big deer hunting state. Whitetail hunting is pretty big here, but second of all, pertaining to deer hunting, we are a straight wall cartridge state. So we can only use certain calibers of certain types and sizes to actually harvest that buck here in central Iowa. And as you can see here on the table, we are pretty big fans of lever guns, and lever guns specifically in 4570. There's lots of new cartridges that have come out, lots of new platforms that have come to market, and honestly, while they all have certain things to offer, what they kind of lack in is, first of all, power, and second of all, reliability. Semi-automatics, generally speaking, don't like to work too well with anything straight wall in our experience, but there's nothing wrong with a good old 4570 lever action, which is why we have a whole bunch of them here in front of us. These are all rifles that people here at Battlehawk own. So what we wanted to do today is just kind of talk about our individual 4570s, why we chose them, what we like about them, and then just have a little friendly competition as we kind of see what these rifles are actually capable of here out at the range. All right, so we'll start off with Dennis. What lever action did you choose?
It's a MARLIN Dark 4570 with a BURRIS scout scope.
And you basically chose that, I'm guessing, because it's kind of a more modern tactical lever action. The barrel is threaded. Obviously, you do have a suppressor on there. Which one did you choose?
It's a Thunder Beast Fly 45.
Yeah, it's a great suppressor. So more of a tactical lever action, so that should have a little bit more capabilities, not only the suppressor, but the optics. So I think you'll be at a little bit of an advantage, but we shall see. So John, you actually have two 4570 lever actions.
I do.
So why don't you talk us through the two that you have chosen and why?
Well, that's the wrong John's.
Oh, is it?
So the first one I got is the Henry 4570. Very traditional, very cool, but not modern. So a couple weeks ago, I ended up with the Marlin. Doesn't really have a name, but it's pretty much a guide gun with a gray laminate stock and then ghost ring sights. As you can see, I've got a hybrid 46 suppressor on it, but I haven't even shot that thing yet.
Well, we'll get some rounds through it today. All right, so Tucker, you have actually borrowed some from the shop, someone that's not with us today. So what do you have?
So this is the boss's Marlin guide gun, 4570. It is the original guide gun with the walnut stock. It does have a Midwest Industries rail. It's covered in these M-LOK railwoods. It looks really, really cool. Burris 2-7 scout scope and a Rex Selenium 46 cal suppressor.
And we have this fella here. So that is a Winchester. Specifically, it is the 1886 Deluxe Edition. It does have a traditional small loop with an octagon barrel, so it's a very heavy steel barrel, and it's got a color case hardened receiver. So a really classic, really cool rifle. So that should just be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that looks really good with that case hardening.
All right, John, what do you have?
This is a bone stock Marlin Trapper. Really haven't done anything with it quite yet. Got a dead air primal on the end of it, and thing's awesome.
Yeah, still a great rifle. And last but not least, John, what you got?
It's got a Marlin 1895. Basically out here to learn from you guys. I've basically just been a bird hunter all my life. This is the first lever action rifle I have, so haven't put a scope on it, but I'm old school, basic, ready to learn today.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that we want to do is shoot some groups to see what these lever action rifles in 4570 are actually capable with. So we'll have Tucker start off first with the guide gun. We're all going to be shooting Hornady Lever Evolution. It is 325 grain FTX projectiles. Targets downrange at 50 yards. For those shooting scopes, we have 1-inch pasters down there. For everyone shooting irons, we do have some 4-inch squares down there to make it a little bit easier. But we'll just see what these groups actually look like and have a little bit of fun along the way. All right, so we are down here at 50 yards. Looking at the target, I can tell you right away who didn't win, and that was me. I probably have about a 1-foot group. But moving up, old John, you've got 1 round on here, so I don't think you won either. Jordan with the Winchester, again, shooting irons. Probably about a 6-inch group, so not bad for irons. John Trent actually probably put down about a 4-inch group with irons, so John with his Marlin and suppressor shot a pretty good group. John Smith, you had about a 4-inch group as well. shooting suppressed Marlin again, so maybe there's something to that. Then we have the two that are maybe the winner, so we'll have to kind of rock, paper, scissors to win. But Tucker, with that guide gun, you can see you put down an actually pretty darn good group, so maybe 2.5 inches there. Dennis, we can tell for sure with your Burris Scout Scope and your Marlin Dark, you've got 2 definitive rounds on here, and they are quite close. No idea on a third. It could be in on top of one of these or into Narnia. So we'll let the audience decide a little bit who the real winner is here, whether it's Tucker or Dennis. Maybe you'll arm wrestle.
I'm going to go with John Trent since he did that with iron sights.
So the winner actually says John Trent did it, so who knows. But that is what these lever guns are capable of this morning in our hands as far as accuracy goes. But we'll bring the targets in a little bit. We'll have a little bit more fun with these 45-70s and continue to see what they're all about. So we've seen how these rifles do as far as accuracy goes. We do have some of the more tactically oriented lever guns, so we want to see how they do up close, kind of at speed a little bit. So what we have is the winner, maybe, of our accuracy challenge, John with his Marlin and his Dead Air Primal. What we're going to do next is we've got targets at about 5 yards. We're going to shoot 2 rounds to each. We're looking for all A zone hits, so that is 6 rounds. We'll start from low ready, so buttstock will be in the shoulder, pointed at about the base of your first target, and we'll react to the buzzer in 2 rounds to each. So John, when you are ready, low ready. So that was 456, all A-zone hits, and as you can hear, one of the really cool advantages of 45-70, since they are such big, heavy, fat bullets, you can get stuff like this Hornady Sub-X that sounds really good in a lot of these 46 cal suppressors like the Dead Air Primal. So good job, John. Stand by. So 1437, a little bit of issue running it and turning the safety on, but still pretty good. Looks like, again, all A-zone hits, so good job, John. Stand by. .662, another run of all A-zones, so good job, Jordan. Tucker getting a little crazy. A time of 6:32 with 1 Charlie, so you are not the winner.
No.
.593, so that's probably second place with all alphas once again, so good job, Dennis. All right, sending some lead down range. Your time was 8:44. How's that, John?
Old.
Bye. We have a winner.
All right, gang, so I'd say that was a whole heck of a lot of fun through a whole bunch of lead down range. Definitely pretty interesting to see what these 45-70 lever actions are still capable of today. So Jordan, why don't you go ahead and start us off? I'll swing over by you since I've got a mic on me. All right, Jordan, so what'd you think about the Winchester today?
So starting off on the bench was not exactly pleasant.
Yeah.
We got a metal butt plate here, so not a lot of cushion there, and also when you're shooting off a bench, your body's kind of absorbing a lot of that recoil. There's not a lot of give or anything else to kind of lessen that. So that was a little less than desirable, but running it on the 3 targets here was a lot of fun. It's actually a quick little gun. The action is super smooth, and it just looks awesome with that color case harden and the patterning on the wood. It's a very cool gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the most striking rifle out here. And even though it wasn't necessarily fun to shoot from the bench, just shooting iron sights, it was still a pretty decent group downrange, definitely good enough to harvest an animal or something like that.
Sure.
So still a very capable rifle and definitely a very striking rifle. But we'll go next to John Smith with your Marlin. What'd you think?
So, great gun. About the only thing I had, like I said, this is the first time shooting with that Lever safety threw me off a couple times when I'm coming from just shooting that Henry in your hand and not having
Mm-hmm.
that. But shoots great. Several more rounds, just repetition. We'll get through that just fine.
Yeah, and now we're kind of getting into more of the modern lever actions where we do have a host of more modern features. The suppressor sounded amazing on there. You've got a SILENCERCO Hybrid 46. That with the Hornady Sub-X stuff sounded phenomenal. The thing I really did like about this is the more modern sights. Fiber optic front sight, larger rear aperture. You also do have a pick rail on there for mounting accessories and that larger hammer spur on there to thumb it back. So also a really capable rifle and really fun. All right, Tucker, what'd you think about the Marlin?
Well, it's a lot of fun to shoot. Marlin makes a great lever action. You'll see most of those out here. The boss did this one up pretty cool, kind of a mix of old school and new school. So with the Scout Scope, the Midwest Industries rail, and this Rexilinium suppressor, just a blast to shoot. And, really like the looks of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is really cool. With all of the modern features on kind of a classic lever gun, it's got a ton of capability. Got the Scout Scope on there. The K-size suppressor still sounds really good and keeps it nice and light for carry, so that was definitely a really cool rifle to have out here today. Dennis the Menace shooting some tight groups downrange. What'd you think about the Marlin Dark today?
I thought the scope did most of the work over the gun, but fun little guy.
Yeah, and again, you know, with the more modern trimmed Marlins, specifically the Dark, you've got just tons of capability. So obviously you've outfitted yours with a hand stop. You've got a side saddle on it. Definitely a enhanced comb height on that stock, since it is a more modern composite stock. That pick rail for the Burris Scout Scope definitely helped you on the accuracy. And that Thunder Beast Fly 45, I mean, we've all known this for a while. All Thunder Beast suppressors are amazing, and that Fly 45 is no different. It sounded really good with that Sub-X. So definitely a cool rifle, and good job today, Dennis. All right, John, we've got you out here with the classic-looking Marlin. What'd you think today?
Well, I think it was a learning experience for me. Like I said, it's the first lever action I had. I can understand why you younger guys get the cans on the end there. I can see that with a little practice and maybe can and scope that at least maybe I can get on the cardboard. But
yeah, and I mean, you certainly were. You know, you might have been just an eighth of an inch off, who knows out there, but you still definitely landed a good shot out there. And again, I think, you know, coming out here running it a little bit more today, you're definitely not only appreciating the platform a little bit more, but yours in particular. Like, now you definitely see, hey, you do like irons, but maybe since we have a pick rail on there, we might want to take advantage of the ability to mount something like those Scout Scopes on there. And I think a suppressor is in your pretty immediate future, if I would say so myself. I had the Henry with the brass receiver and the octagon barrel in 4570. I don't shoot a lot of lever guns, which is why I had to borrow one today. The buckhorn sights are not something that I particularly care for, but they are what they are. I still did land some rounds out at 50 yards, although definitely not a fantastic group. With 4570, any one of those rounds would probably still get the job done, though. This, comparative to a lot of the more modern rifles, I was able to shoot it the quickest on our little 2-2-2 drill because it doesn't have some of the more modern safety features. Specifically, like you heard John Smith talk about, we don't have the lever safety there. So this lever runs extremely fast. I've never been a huge fan of the large loops because I think it just makes the throw a little bit slower until you can actually contact it. So we did see all of that come to fruition. So definitely a fun rifle to shoot when you're standing, not quite so fun to shoot from a bench like Jordan mentioned with that metallic butt plate on there, but still a really cool rifle, still tons of capability and a really good option if you like something a little bit more classic. So all of this to say, the 4570 is still a very good round, especially if you live in a slightly restricted state like Iowa where you do have to use straight walls. There's tons of options out there on the market right now from Marlin, Henry, and many other manufacturers with tons of different feature sets. Some are kind of that old school, some have a bunch of modern features. You can suppress them, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with them like we did today. So if you're looking for a 4570, make sure you go ahead and check the market because there's lots of good options. If you have any questions about any of these rifles that we had out here today, suppressors, optics, ammunition, make sure you leave those in the comments down below. We do read them. We do appreciate your guys' feedback, and we try to get back to you as quick as we can. If you're interested in content like this, make sure that you follow us on our social medias. We do have Facebook, Instagram, and tons of other fun stuff where we're posting cool pictures of rifles and suppressors like these and many other things. We appreciate all you guys watching and coming along with us. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.